welcome back to another Minecraft Conquest Reforged video. Kinder Knight here, and we are back with part 2 of our LindusCliffe castle tour. And now we're going to go ahead and check out the interiors. But before we do that, there is something I want to show you guys that I made mention to in the last episode that I forgot to show you guys. And as you see, we have this long metal piping that kind of goes along the side of this wall that's connected to a hopper at the top, and at the bottom there's sort of a hopper that's placed in the ground as a little drain. And now this is important because I mentioned before that this castle in particularly does not have a well, but in fact it has an underground cistern. So I just want to show you guys that because it would be important later on in the tour. And as you see, if we fly around to the back of this, or actually I'm sorry, of the front, we see we have a couple more plays. So this is just how our castle was able to replenish that valuable resource of water. And so when it rains, the hoppers would collect all the water, and then it would be funneled down through the piping into the ground, where it would be funneled into the underground cistern, and that's pretty much how that would work. All right, now that I've covered that little detail, I think we can finally check out some interiors. And now there's going to be quite a bit of back and forth, but I'm going to do my best. You guys just stick with me and we'll get through it because there's quite a bit to show you guys. And now let's go ahead and make our way up these stairs here, and let's go ahead and head to the first room on our tour. And we open these doors right here and make sure we close that. And now we step into what I like to call the public audience hall. It isn't a throne room. In fact, there isn't an actual throne room in this castle, but instead, this particular area is where the Lord's subjects can come to him if they have, say, a problem or a dispute that our Lord would need to solve, and he would render his judgment here. And then on each side of his table, there's two smaller tables where maybe his higher ranking officials would sit, maybe his counselors that would give him advice of how to judge certain matters. And then I went ahead and added in some little other areas for seating, mostly for decorational purposes. And of course we have candle holders, and we have a nice big chandelier hanging to illuminate the room a little bit. And then we got a nice fireplace there. And now let's go ahead and move on through to the next room. And now we come to the Lord's family's personal dining room. And now this would be where, unless under the rare occasion the Lord is throwing a big feast, otherwise this area would be where the noble family would receive most of their meals. And it's moderately decorated with a nice big fireplace and chandelier and bookshelves and cabinetry. And I tried to make sure I stick to the lore because as I mentioned, that the Lord doesn't like to spend too much money on things he feels is frivolous. And so I did my best to not go too overboard on decorations and just keep things generally moderately simple and just comfy and practical. Even as far as the detailing of the paint on the walls, I held back on that. Usually when I'm wanting to show how opulent someone is, how wealthy they are, I go with brighter and more bolder colors, and as you see, I kept it simple. So anyways, as we come to our first solar on the tour, this would be where the Lord, or mainly where the Lord, I like to think, would bring maybe people he feels he can trust, if there are any. And this is where they would maybe more so discuss matters in private. So we just have this nice little lounge area where we have a couple of seats where we can sit around a fire, a table so we can have some drink on hand. And then over here we have a little desk for maybe when the Lord is decreeing something, his I guess scribe would be there to write whatever he's decreeing. And then over here we have our Garter Rope, and I really love designing these. These are really fun. As you see, I have a little shelf where it's hanging with a towel so they can wipe themselves after they're done with their business. And then we have some herbs and some flowers just in there so they can freshen the area up in themselves after they're done with their business. And of course we have these curtains where they can close them so they can have a little bit more privacy, so they're not just out in the open when they're doing their business. And then over here we have a little, I don't know what these are called, but I see them a lot in castles, so I wanted to add them, and it just overlooks the landscape, and I think a nice little touch to add to this room. I would imagine it gets pretty cold here in the winter though, but that's what we have this nice big fireplace in the center of the room for, to try to keep the heat in. And then over here we have a little game of chess where, you know, we can sit and relax, and also another little area where we can keep some food on, and, you know, always have something to eat in every room, so they don't necessarily always have to be in the dining area to eat or receive food. So we're gonna go ahead and move on with the tour and make our way up these stairs and through this hallway, and then we're gonna go up this flight of stairs right here, and then we come to the Lord's Banquet Hall. And now this is where our Lord would come, or I should say he would throw a party here when the king's in town and the king is visiting the castle and he needs to really impress his king, or maybe just some other high-ranking nobles that he may need to impress. This is where he would entertain them, wine them, and dine them. And as you see, he has this little area up here. I forget what it's called, but his seating area is elevated, and has a nice spot right in front of the fire with this beautiful rug. And as you see, we have dining tables around where everyone else would sit. And, you know, it still, I believe, is moderately decorated. I still didn't go too over the top with it. It has a level of opulence to it, but you guys got to keep in mind this this particular lord is very, very rich. So this, compared to what he can actually have, is very low budget, I would say. So yeah, but again, it works, it's practical, and I like it. And we have pictures on the wall. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go through here, and now we're gonna make it through and head on over into the Lord's personal chapel, or the Lindus family's chapel. And as you see, very neatly and lightly decorated with some nice pictures on the wall, a couple of tables with some decorations. And then we have one real quick, we have this over here. This is sort of what I guess you would wash your hands before you would, I guess, enter into the temple. So that's that. And then we come in, we have our little chapel area. We have the little altar right here. We have some candle stands, and we have little cushions on the floor where the Lord and his family, I guess, would kneel down when they're doing their devotion. And then a couple of chests in the room where maybe some valuables are kept, some relics or something they may revere or something like that. I don't know. And now this chapel room would probably be one of the most expensive rooms inside of the entire castle. So let's go ahead and we're gonna make our way back. Like I said, we're gonna be doing a lot of back and forth in this place. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go down these stairs here, and we're gonna make our way back through the public audience hall, back through the dining area, the Lord's family's dining. And we're not going to go up there quite yet. We're going to save that for last, but we are going to go down through this area. And now on this level here, we can find the lady of the castle, as well as the Lord's son's bedchambers, as well as a garter rope. But before we check out this area, I think we're going to go ahead and go down and check out the lower areas of the castle first. And down here, as you guys can see, compared to the upper levels, it's starting to look a bit shabby, though the walls are still painted, but there's little to nothing in decorations and everything just looks kind of bland. And the reason for that is we are in the servants' quarters. But these are not just any servants, these are would be the noble family's chambermaids. And as we enter their chambers, we see they have a simple fireplace, a couple of decent beds here. They're not sleeping on the floor, on hayloft beds, like most lower ranking servants would. So obviously they are higher ranking servants, and it makes sense because they would be responsible for tending to the personal day-to-day needs of the Lord and his family. and so their position inside the castle affords them a bit more luxury than most others. And our last few pieces of decoration, we have a checkerboard table over here in the corner with some seating. We have this little table right here where we can keep some food and drink on it, and a little pot right here in the corner. So that's pretty much it. So we're gonna go ahead and make our way down to the next level, and down here it's another solar, and I just went ahead and made this kind of like a solar for the whole family, where the lady of the castle, the lord and his son, they can come and spend some quality time together. It's more decorated, more family oriented, where we have a table right here where there's food. Again, another place for them to be served food when they're not receiving food at the dining table. Comfy seating around the fire. So a place to play some chess right here. Plenty of seating. We have some books and some scrolls in a cabinet, and we have a desk over here where they can do some writing, and again another table right here to play some checkers. Maybe they're having some family over and it's, you know, everybody's spending their time here. Also, I would like to add, when decorating rooms like this, I like to think in the third dimension, whereas there's multiple layers of seating, tables, and just things to see. I think it really brings rooms or builds alive and make them feel lived in. So we're gonna go ahead and make our way through that door there, and now we're gonna start heading towards, I believe, the kitchen area, and we have to pass through this kind of little lobby area, our corridor, hallway, whichever you want to call it. And now I want to show you guys exactly where this area is located. If you remember, right here, right by the Dove Cove. So if we go in through this door, we hit the cellars area / kitchen area. And this place does not have a traditional kind of pantry. Everything that they need, supply, food stores, are just kind of strewed about like so, all in this area here and other areas as well. But we're gonna go ahead and move on through this door right here, and we're gonna enter into the castle's kitchen. And this is where all the lord's family's meals, as well as everyone else's meal, or I should say where everyone else would have their meals made throughout the day. So over here we have a nice big stove, really big stove. It's got to be pretty big to feed everybody, to make enough food. We have meat smoking, meat cooking. We have stews going, and we have also bread baking in there. And over here we have a little, I guess it would be a butter turner, or maybe it's flour, mixing flour or something like that. But that, what that is right there. And then we have a table full of food, and it's being prepared and it's ready to go and being taken up to the Lord's family for them to enjoy. And up here we have herbs and all types of stuff just hanging from the beams. And then of course we have other kitchen wares and decorations all about. I really like the way this kitchen came out. I think it works real well for this type of castle. I think I utilized this space pretty cool, pretty decently, I should say. So we're gonna go ahead and close that door, and now we're gonna make our way to some servants, I believe bedchambers. Yes. So as you see, this is where the majority of the servants would sleep. On hay lofts on the ground. So they have a few chests and drawers to keep some of their belongings. And as we see, they're hanging things from the ceiling, so rats and little critters don't get into it. So very, very modest. And as you guys can see, compared to the chambermaids living quarters, we can see how much of a difference there is. So let's go ahead and make our way over here. And now we come into another area where we have some more stores of food and supply, but also another very special and important resource that I'm excited to show you guys. And now, going down here, this would be off limits, and only certain servants would be allowed to access and come down here. So first off, we're gonna go ahead and make our way over here. As you see, this is where the castle keeps its ale and wine and maybe mead. Right here we have some wines, and right here we have ale and maybe some mead in these barrels here. And also down here doubles as some more pantry space where we can store some more food and supplies for the castle. But what I really want to show you guys is over here. And now again, I talked about an underground cistern before, and so this is the underground cistern, and this is where only certain servants would be allowed to come down here to retrieve water for the castle and the servants and the horses and whatever would need to drink water. Certain servants would be able to come down here, and it would be rationed off to everyone based off of their rank. And so the way it would work is, again, those hoppers up on top would filter the water down, or I should say channel the water down, and the water will kind of pour out through little chambers that are cut through the rock, and it will pour out from these dragon heads, and it will constantly pour back, and that's how the water would be restored. And yeah, that's kind of how I imagined working down here. And as you see, we have buckets around where the servants can come down here and just get the water. And as you see, we have the water dripping. It's a little cool little effect I wanted to add just to kind of show you guys that those hoppers up there, they're doing their job. Definitely. We live up in the mountains, so that means that there's a lot of rain and a lot of moisture that is constantly being funneled back to replenish this cistern. So we always have our water, that very important life resource. And so I really like the way this came out. I think it came out really cool, and I think it really works. And so that's our cistern. So we're gonna go ahead and make our way back up and out of this area. And now we're gonna go ahead and go out through this door right here. We're gonna close it, and now we're gonna go ahead and do some backtracking again, and we're gonna go ahead and go back through this little area here. And go ahead and open that door right there. Whoop. Get rid of that. Close that. Don't want to leave any doors open. So we're gonna go ahead and check out some more lower levels of the castle. So this is just sort of like a little hallway area. Again, I actually thought about turning these into rooms, but I thought that it would kind of go against the lore I have here, since the Lord doesn't really like to entertain much, and he's sort of a hermit. It wouldn't make sense to have a bunch of extra rooms because he wouldn't necessarily invite anybody over. But anyways, we're now in the guards area, or the guards barracks, and this is where the guards of the castle sleep. And here we have a little arrow slip where we can, as a guard, can look out through there and see what's going on. But as you see, we have some little simple hay beds on the floor as usual right here, and we have some crossbows on the wall. We have some arrows and crossbow bolts. And if we go through here, we have a little armory where our men-at-arms and our guards and knights can just kind of load up, grab what they need, and if they needed to defend the walls or the castle, they have this here, and it's right on hand. So that's that there. Again, some more hay beds for them. And then if we go ahead and make our way up this ladder right here, this kind of doesn't count as interiors, but we didn't get to it in the last video because where it's located, I kind of didn't want to go through the main house to show you guys this. But this is, the guard barrack. This is where probably most of the guards spend most of their time when they're patrolling and watching the wall, or just kind of doing their guardly duties. As you see, they have a little, some games out where they can play some cards, and of course plenty of arrows around, so they can always fire from their bows or crossbows when they need be. And yeah, and as you see, we have pretty good view of everything going on. So someone's coming through these gates, our guards have perfect aim and can just take them out, pick them off really easily, and they're safe and hidden behind nice strong walls and all that good stuff. And yep, so the guards here have a pretty decent field of view from these walls, and they can see if anyone's approaching or any armies would be approaching, and so they would have plenty of time to prepare themselves before the enemy even gets close enough to even launch an attack on the castle. If we come over here, we can have a cool little look or view of the inner Bailey area, and I really love the way it came out. I'm really happy with this build. And if we go in through here, we can see that we have a little walkway path that we can take those stairs and we can walk all the way around to get to here. So our guards need to be, they can get to the ground level fast, or they can get up here to these hoardings fast as well. So we're gonna go ahead and go right back down this ladder and make our way through the guard barracks. And we're gonna go ahead and close that door there. And again, we come through another passageway. These areas here are probably, again, one of the more decorative areas of the castle. So we're gonna go ahead and go down these stairs right here. And we're gonna go down this winding staircase. And before we go to that room right there, we're gonna go ahead and check out this other area over here first. It's really cool in here. So this part of the castle is sort of like the part of the castle where everything goes to get cleaned one way or the other, as far as the royal family is concerned, I should say. So in here, as you see all these clothes hanging up, this is where the servants would do the Lord's family's laundry. And maybe their laundry in the spare time. And we have a Garter Rope right here too as well. So we have, other places for people to do their business and such. As you see, we have some flowers and we have some hanging rags to wipe, and of course some curtains for some privacy. And again, as you see all these hanging clothes, and if we make our way over here, we see this furnace right here with this big tub of water sitting on top of it that's steaming. And if we go ahead and make our way up these stairs, I can explain to you how this works. So basically, that furnace would heat the water to boiling point, and in the servants would put the dirty laundry, and they would add whatever chemicals or spices to the water, and they would just stir it to get the clothes clean, and then they would take them out and hang them right here like so. And I think it was very appropriate because this little area has this little opening right here where some air can come in and help to dry the clothes. So it makes sense. And over here we just have some clothes that have already been cleaned, and they've been folded, and they're just kind of sitting here waiting to be put away or taken up into the castle to be used or whatnot. And over here, this is where maybe our chemicals are kept for the laundry and all that good stuff. And so let's make our way down this hallway right here. And I don't know why this door is open, but let's go ahead and close it. So here is the nobles family's bathhouse. And this is where they would go to get clean. So we would have a servant come and fill this tub up with hot water. Again, they would probably have water boiling on the furnace, or at least warming up on a furnace, and they would come here and get the bath all comfortable for the Lord and his family. And as you see, we have places for the noble family to just kind of sit and relax when they're not in the tub, or maybe they're waiting for their turn in the bath. So we have some chests right there. And we have some jars around where maybe the water was being kept in, and that's pretty much it. So we're gonna go ahead and double back. And we're gonna make our way to this room right here. Right here, this room. And now I like to think of this room as our blacksmith's room. Like I mentioned, I believe in the part 1 of this video, that the blacksmith lives in the castle because the Lord thinks he finds it more convenient to have a blacksmith that lives in the castle. So it's easier for him to make weapons and any metal work that the Lord may need done. He has the blacksmith, so he gets this nice little dwellings. And as you see, the blacksmith is a higher ranking servant. He has a decent bed and a decent room. So that's that. So we're gonna go ahead and turn back. I don't know why I'm going this way for, but we're gonna go ahead and go up this spiral staircase right here again and make our way back through this door here. And as you see, we come back out into the first saloon that we visited on this tour. And now I think it's time to go ahead and check out some of the noble family's bedchambers. So we're gonna go ahead and again make our way through this dining hall area back here. So if we go ahead and make our way back here, we come to the castle's third garter rope. There are 3 garter ropes in this castle, and so here's just another one just for convenience. So that's that. And then we're gonna go ahead and go in here into the first noble bedchamber. This would be the Lord's son's room, and as you see, it's very, very nicely decorated. It's not, again, it's still, I believe, follows the lore where it's not too overly done. There's nothing in here that's just, you know, kind of out of just splendor or extra opulence. It's meant to be comfy. It's meant to be a practical dwelling where he has a bed, a little place to sit when he wants to be in front of his fire, a place for some storage, some books, and just like a little table for writing. And of course there's pictures and art on the wall. So that's the Lord's son's bedroom chamber. And now we're going to go to the ladies of the castle bedchamber. And as you see, very similar to the son's. It's a little bit more feminine, I would say. We have a fireplace, we have some nice fancy clothing and some dressers, and she has a mirror there to look at herself, maybe brush her hair there. She got a big pot with some flowers, and then yeah, she has some books. And right here, that little thing is where the halberds, that's sort of like a little poker where they use that to stir the fire, you know, kind of poke at the fire. So that's what that is. I put those by all the fireplaces just to add that little bit more detail to the build. And I want to show you guys over here real quick too, because this little area can lead you out, right here on the little hoardings area where the guards are. So the guards can get here to protect the family if they needed to. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and head up to the upper floor where the Lord actually stays. And again, his floor is a little bit more nicer, but again, I didn't want to overdo it and, you know, splurge on opulence, but just keep it, you know, it's fancy, but it's still practical, I believe. And now the Lord has 2 double red doors that leads into his bedchambers, and that's how we know we're at the Lord of the castle's room. And as we come in, we see his room, and I really love how this came out. He has the bed, he has a nice double bed with a chest in front of it, and we have a place right in front of the fire to sit and relax. And it's just, I feel like this room is really works, and it really shows that this guy is the Lord of this castle for sure. Again, I didn't want to go too heavy on the design and make everything too opulent and just fancy, but I think that I want to have a little bit of fun with this area, and so I made it practical, still made it practical, but it works really well. So this is the Lord's room. As you see, we have some areas for some storage, and we have some tables to maybe put a meal if he wanted to take his meal in here, and he has some pictures and painting and art all around. So yeah, and again, I think it makes a lot of sense because this Lord, being a paranoid kind of person, he would probably spend a lot of days just shut in his room, not wanting to see anyone or having any audience with anybody. So it makes sense this room is designed in such a way. But if we go in through here, I want to show you guys that this leads out to that big feasting hall. So there you have it. I just want to show you guys that this castle has everything kind of connects, and it's sort of kind of confusing moving through it, but that's actually pretty much what we want to go for when you're kind of designing a castle, because we want to make it kind of confusing for anyone. If they were to break in, you don't want them to be able to just locate and get around so easily. You kind of want to confuse them a little bit. So there you have that right there. Go ahead and double back, because there was an area that I didn't get a chance to show you guys in the first video. because again would have to have gone through the interiors to get to it, and I didn't want to spoil that. So but we're gonna go ahead and check that out now. So again, when we come up here in the feasting hall, we see we have a big fireplace up here too, because this is a really big room, and you know, we would want to keep it nice and warm when everybody's in it. So we have a double fireplace, and you know, up here where we have some seating for people to eat and sit and just enjoy the festivities and, you know, be happy. So we go back right here. We have this door right here, and we go ahead and open it up. Go ahead and close it. We see it leads out to the back of the castle. And now I didn't get around to putting anything out here. I'm still thinking about what I actually want to do. I was thinking about maybe adding in maybe a guard barrack kind of training area where they can practice some archery, or maybe they can practice some sparring, or maybe just go ahead and maybe turn this into like a little area where the noble family could come and sit and maybe eat out here, and maybe add a little area for them just to relax out in the back. I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys think would be cool to be out here if you guys are so inclined to, and I'll think about adding it in, and you know, maybe I'll make another video to show that part off. But yeah, so this is this part of the wall, as you can see, or the castle I should say. So we're gonna go ahead and head back inside. Let's go back up these stairs here and go ahead and open that door. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and move along as we're wrapping this up. We're gonna go double back again, like we have been doing all this time. And now we're gonna go ahead and go up this spiral staircase to the last part of this castle. Now this part of the castle is designed as sort of a panic kind of room. If the castle ever was to be invaded and the enemy broke in, the royal family or the noble family would be hoisted up here into this area until the attackers were dealt with and it was all clear and safe for them to come back down. So as you see, it's very simple. It's no real luxuries up here. We have a table where the family could sit and eat. We have some beds over there for them to sleep, and of course there's some supplies all around just in case they need to spend a week or so up here. We have some books for them to read so they can have something to do while they're up here, and all that good stuff. Of course, we have a little fireplace right here, doubles as a cooking station right there, as you can see. So again, I really like the way this came out, and it makes plenty sense as far as the lore goes. Our paranoid lord would definitely want something like this for his family, but it's actually pretty practical too, because in the case of an invasion and by chance army was to break in, this would probably save their life, I would think. So we're gonna go ahead and make our way over here to this door right here. And now this door is sort of secret. Only the Lord and maybe one of his most trusted officials or counselors would probably know about this room here. And this is where the Lord keeps all his money, his treasury, I should say. And as you see, we have some large chests of gold and silver. We have some very expensive gold bars, some smaller chests with silver and just gold relics and just all types of money here. Now, this money would be probably worth millions, if not billions, I would say, in our currency. So he's pretty darn rich, this guy. And as you see, his castle doesn't really reflect how rich he actually is, because again, he doesn't think it's necessary to show off and to make a scene when it comes to riches. So if we go up to this last part of the castle, into this kind of attic space, I created a little space for some guards to sleep, because again, if the royal family was hoisted away, maybe a few guards, a small garrison of men would stay behind with them, just in case somebody was to break in and get this far. The family would still need one last defense to protect them. And so here you have it. I went ahead and threw this together up here, and I really like it. I think this castle came out really good, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a pretty long video, so I appreciate it. if you guys stayed to the end. It was a lot to get through, and I really wanted to show you guys the works that I've put into this. And it's been a while since we've had a video on this channel, so I thought it was okay to go ahead and make a longer video for you guys. But so that's it. That was the tour of LindusCliffe Castle, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Alright guys, so that was the entire tour of LindusCliffe Castle. A bit longer video than usual, but there was a lot here, and I really wanted to show you guys all of it. And I really appreciate those of you that stuck around for the entire video. So I would like to say thank you again, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up to support the channel. And also, don't forget to turn on that red notification bell so you don't miss any future Minecraft Conquest Reforged videos. Also, drop a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the interiors of this castle. And also, I'm working on being more regular on the channel and posting at least about 1 to 2 videos every week. So I hope you guys look forward to that. This has been the Kinder Knight from Castle LindusCliffe, and I bid you a farewell.